one. So firstly, I want to say a big thank you to all the parents, guardians and carers that have sent me pictures, videos and messages. The amount of things that you've done whilst we can't do scouting meetings is absolutely amazing. It's definitely going to keep me busy going through everything. So tonight we're going to talk about road safety. All the sheets that I mention are posted on Facebook and Instagram on Goth Beaver Leader Star. And as I say, the sheets are on both sites. So the pack that I've made is a bit like a theory test. Now, what is a theory test? It is a test that all drivers have to take to basically make sure that they are safe to be able to drive a car, so they know what the road signs are and the rules of the road mean. It is multiple choice, same as the questions in the pack, so they should be nice and easy for you. So mainly tonight we're going to talk about how to be safe on your bike. I know a lot of you are out and about on your bikes at the moment, so I think this is quite an important one to cover. So firstly, I'm going to talk about clothes. Should, shouldn't and could wears. Okay, so one of the sheets that I've done looks like this. Okay, so on here you've got things that you should wear, like a helmet and long sleeves, because if you do fall off your bike, you don't want to be hurting your arms. Things you shouldn't wear, like a scarf and big headphones. But also things that you could wear, so things like gloves. Because if you do fall off, your hands are then protected. Okay? So, the next page is a picture of some bears on a street. Okay? So, imagine you're a driver. You don't get very long to look down at a street to see if it's safe for you to pull out. So, bright clothes can make a big difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up this picture for 2 seconds and I want you to comment how many bears you can see in this picture. Okay? 1, 2. Now that's not very long, but that is maybe double or even quadruple. That's 4 times as longer than a driver could get a look for. Okay? Now if you think the ones that you might have spotted are the ones in bright colours. Okay? That's why I say bright colours can make a big difference. So I'm now going to hold it up for 10 seconds and comment again how many you can see and put if it was either the 2 seconds or the 10 seconds. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so comment how many you can see, but I will now tell you that in that picture there are 20 bears. Okay? There is definitely 20 bears because I made the picture up. So let's see how long it takes you to find all 20. So the next thing we're going to talk about is road position. Okay, so road position. These rules that I'm mentioning now only apply in the UK. So if you do live in a different country, these rules might not apply to you. Okay, so what side of the road should you ride your bike? You should ride it on the left hand side in the same direction as all the vehicles. Okay, now walking is different. If you're walking and there's no pavement, you're walking in the road, you are facing the oncoming traffic. Then you can see if there is a vehicle coming along and you can step out of the way. Obviously, if there is a cycle path available, do use that. If you are riding in the road, obviously you need to ride far enough out from the curb so that you miss all of the drains and you miss maybe the loose rocks and the rubbish that's on the road as well. But instead of weaving in and out of parked cars, rubbish and drains, keep a nice straight line, because if you're weaving in and out, some vehicles can't always tell if you're stopping, hiding, or what you're doing. So if you stick in a nice straight line, nice and simple, everybody can see you. Okay? So the rules of the road apply to you as well. If you're using the road, they apply to you. So, traffic lights. Where should you stop? Again, this might be different in a different country, so this is for the UK. So where should you stop at traffic lights? At some traffic lights, there are white boxes in front of the vehicles. They have a bike on the road in the box. So that's where you should stop. If there isn't a box, you stop again the left-hand side at the curb. It means that you're safe and you're ready to pull away when the lights change. So, crossings that you can use. Crossings that you can legally ride across. Now, there are multiple different crossings. There are pelican crossings, zebra crossings, and toucan crossings. There is also puffin crossings. But the one that bikes can legally ride across are toucan crossings. And the way I remember it is split toucan into two words. And since the bike has two wheels, toucan. Okay, that's how I remember it. But again, personal choice. So with bikes, they don't have things like indicators. So cyclists will use hand signals. Okay, so if you're the cyclist in front of you, or you are the cyclist, you wave your arm straight up and down. It signals to the driver behind you, in front of you, that you are stopping and slowing down. But if you put a straight arm out, either left or right, then that is the direction that you're turning, or they are turning. So it gives the other vehicles around you on the road an indication of where you're going and what you're doing. Sometimes vehicles will use hand signals, maybe if their lights failed or something like that. But for a cyclist, those are the two that are key for you to know. So now we're going to talk about road signs. Okay, so this is another sheet that I've used. I've put on in the pack. Okay, so this is how I remember signs and what they mean. So triangles mean warnings. As you can see, 3 triangles together makes a W. Do it with your fingers as well. 3 triangles is still a W. Okay, so red circles are no's. Blue circles are onlys. Okay, that's the way I remember it. But also, you've got rectangular signs. So it says it at the top of the sheet. Rectangular signs give information, like a book. A book is rectangular, like the sheet of paper. It's giving me information on what the signs mean. Okay, that's the way I was taught. That's the way I remember. So we're going to look at a couple of different signs. I'm going to start with one that I'm sure you've all seen. I'm going to start with this one. So, triangle, so it's a warning of children going to or from school. But sometimes it doesn't have this bottom section, and it's at play parks and things like that. So it's just a warning that children are going to and from that area. Also, rectangular sign gives you information that it's for a school. So this one is similar to the previous one, but this one is a warning there are pedestrians. Okay, so you can see that the people in the sign are slightly different from that one. Okay, so this is a warning of pedestrians. Again, these signs are English UK signs. They might be different if you're in a different country. Okay, so again, we've got a warning sign and a rectangular sign. So the rectangular sign is telling us what the warning is. So it's warning us that there are elderly people, which is sometimes seen by care homes and places like that, because elderly people walk slower, so you may need to slow down. Okay, so these are now more warning signs. So this one, again, it's quite self-explanatory. You need to give way to oncoming traffic or traffic on a major road. Okay, so that sign is sometimes seen with these road markings on the road, double white line. Okay, but sometimes it doesn't give you the sign, but they still mean give way. Okay? Now the give way sign is frequently seen with this sign. And this sign, again, is quite self-explanatory. It's warning you that there's a roundabout. Okay? There are questions. Some of these signs do come up, so give you the heads up. Again, a warning sign. The middle section does sometimes change, but it still means the same thing. It's a crossroads, so they might be staggered slightly, there might be a curve, and then the crossings, they still all mean crossroads. So another one, which I think is quite an important one for cyclists, means uneven road. Okay? I know it can be difficult to ride your bike on an uneven road. This is warning us. Ahead is an uneven road. Now again, a very important one for cyclists, hills. This is what this sign means, that there is a hill. So the percentage tells you how steep the hill is. Okay, so this hill is going downwards. So you always read it left to right. Okay, and it tells you which way the hill is going. This one's going downwards. So this one, you might have seen around town. This one is warning you that there is a cycle route ahead. Okay, so it's a warning, again, because it's a triangle. So we're now going to move on to some red circles. So red circles mean no's or don'ts. So no cycling, which again is sometimes seen in town centres, because they don't want you to ride your bike there. Plain and simple. Another one, no entry for any vehicles. This applies to cyclists. The rules of the road apply to you as well. Okay, so no entry. So we've now got some blue circles, which mean only. So blue circle, this means that there are separate cycle and pedestrian paths. Only cyclists this side, only pedestrians that side. Now these two are quite similar. So you can only go ahead. This one, you can only go left. And this one, again, it is blue, so it's an only. It still applies. But it's also a rectangle, so it's telling us, the information is you can only go one way. Okay? So as I say, some of those signs do come up in the questions in the pack that's on Goth Be the Leader Star on Facebook and Instagram. So any cubs that are watching, you will need to do a road safety poster. It can be cycling or walking, it is up to you. And scouts, you will need to know how to maintain your bike so it is in a safe condition for you to ride. So, how, as I say, how to keep it safe, how not to let it go rusty, how to keep it in one piece. So there is no challenge for this week, only to keep safe when out and about. I've been asked for a knots video, so I will be doing a knots video at the end of this week. And next week, for Father's Day, we'll be doing a knots creation. And that is it for this week. So as I say, all the resources I've mentioned are on Goth Be the Leader Star, and I'll see you all again next week.